And now for our first panel of the day, called Financial Sustainability as a Key to Keep European Football Alive. Please, if you could come to the stage. Krzysztof Świergiel, CEO of 11 Sports Poland. Tomás Krivda, member of the board of AC Sparta Praga. Ivan Kmortík, member of the board of Slovan Bratislava. And moderated by Martin Vait, sports specialist and Denik sport journalist. And excuse me for the bad pronunciation.
No, it's perfect. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first panel on today's conference, which is called Financial Sustainability as the key to keep European football alive. If I start with the first question, let us get into it right away. It is maybe mostly for clubs, so Ivan Kmortík and Tomás Krivda. What have you as your clubs identified as key drivers of income and financial sustainability for years ahead? If I can start with the guest from Bratislava.
Okay, thank you. So basically, from our side, I can say that European competition is one of the most important part of our income to our club because of many reasons. The Slovak market is not that big. We cannot produce enough sources just from the Slovak market. So basically now, the most of the incomes are coming from the European competition. It has huge impact on our club from the sides of also the spectators who are coming to the stadium because all of these games that we play on a European level are much more attractive for them. So we can attract completely different numbers of our fans to European games in compared to the Slovak League games. And I can say that even not for the very attractive teams because, for example, this year we played in a group stage with the Pjunik Yerevan and Žalgiris Vilnius, which are not the top clubs, but even for these games, our attendance was over the 15,000, which is completely unusual for the Slovak League. So for these reasons, it's very important European competition also for the attractive or to be able to attract the good players to our club. Without European competition, we would be lost. And yes, also the value of the player is rising up, and also for our sponsors and potential partners, we are much more attractive if we are playing in European competition. So I can say the European competition for us is crucial, and their importance is huge.
How is it for Sparta Prague? Given your experiences in the recent years, have you diversified a little bit your income strategies?
I have to confirm that the participation in European club competitions is really important for our club and clubs in our region, in our country as well. But we are, for the last years, we are focusing on better work, on improvement in work with our fans, because we see a lot of potential in our fans and in all the commercialization of football. Because in Czech Republic, we expect to have better conditions with the TV rights, with the media rights. I hope that from the next cycle, we will have much more income for all the clubs in our league from the TV rights, as well from the naming rights or titular rights of the league. So we see a lot of potential there, but as well in our own fans, because we have been working last few years in improving the services for our fans at the stadium. So the match day revenues are really important for us. And as well, during the COVID era, everybody was working from home, everybody was living at home. So we learned a lot how to communicate with our fans via digital communication, via digital channels. And I can say that this season is really like not a gift, we worked for it, but we had great experience with rising our average attendance at the stadium, but as well inviting new partners, new sponsors in our club, like one of the biggest Czech banks that see how we communicate with our fans, that we are knowing our fans. We have our CRM, we know our fans. Right now we have more than 120,000 fans in our database. So this is something that we will use during the next seasons, and we will build a new structure of incomes that we haven't years ago.
We have talked about the perspective of clubs, but we also have to bring in the perspective of the broadcasters. Krzysztof, you have seen this from the opposite side, let's say. In a market that is light years ahead in some respects, the Polish market, in terms of TV rights and these sort of deals. What has been the experience for the Polish market increasing revenue from broadcasting rights, and how has it helped the Polish Ekstraklasa?
Well, let me make a little reservation at the very beginning. 11 Sport is not a company offering to the Polish viewers Ekstraklasa. Nevertheless, having in mind that we are a quite important player in the Polish market, I several times had the chance to make some considerations whether to invest in Ekstraklasa or not. Therefore, I remember some figures from all these exercises. The media revenues importance for Ekstraklasa could be actually expressed in one figure. But before I will tell you the figure, let me give you some more explanation. Whatever I will be talking about is based on official data. Ekstraklasa is a league which is, let's say, for the further consideration. If I remember properly, the figure that time, the media revenues for the entire Ekstraklasa in 2007 were on the level of 50 million Polish zloty. The exact figure in euro should be calculated if you divide just this figure by 4.5, more or less. Over the last 15 years, now I'm referring to the recent figure, which is known. I'm talking about 21-22 season. The media revenues were on the level of circa 330 million Polish zloty. You might say quite a significant growth. Okay, what about the inflation rate? The 50 million Polish zloty in 2007 expressed in the equivalent, taking into consideration the inflation rate over the time, today would be 75 million. So as you can see, the media revenues has grown by more or less 4 times for Ekstraklasa. What about the importance of those money and what's the weight of these revenues among the 3 main categories of revenues, like match day, media rights, and the third pillar, let's define it, sponsoring and the other sponsoring, merchandising, and all the stuff. In 2007, media rights represented about 25% of overall revenues on average for Ekstraklasa. And now the answer is, today it is 45%. So I can guess that the importance of this revenue stream for Ekstraklasa and all the clubs playing there is really huge.
Can I ask the representatives of clubs how many percent it is in the Slovak and Czech case from the TV rights?
That's interesting.
I don't want to even say.
It's pretty low percentage. In our club, it's like 2 to 3%, but we are not the average club in Czech Republic. So in average, it could be something like 15 to 20%.
But of course, we have seen this season that a lot of movements are working in the Czech football. If we stay on this ground a little bit, you have worked a lot with the match experience. You have worked a lot with the fans, and sometimes it has been a sensitive discussion with your fan groups. But at the same time, Slavia and of course Sparta will most likely break the home attendance record this year in 40 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. There is a lot of fan debate going on surrounding match experience. From the 2024-25 season, there should be new ways of qualifying into Europe, more money from the TV deals as well. Do you see this season as some sort of a revolution and unlocking the potential that the Czech League has, and maybe even for the Slovak League that could serve as this experience?
Definitely this season for the Czech League is really important. It's really our fight with our rivals from Slavia for the top position in the league, and as well for the top position for the attendance, average attendance at the stadium. It's something that is great, that helps us to create more value for whole league, because we are the two biggest clubs. We have the biggest fan base. We are the clubs that are supported at all regions of our country. So it's great for us. And after the last season, which was the last impacted by COVID, with the like restrictions for a number of attendees or a number of fans coming to the match or to the matches, we were quite nervous about, do the fans comes back to the stadiums? And we decided to invest a lot of money in fan engagement at the stadium, in services at the stadium, to bring our fans back. And I'm quite happy that we were able to achieve this, because really we have right now average attendance more than 13,000. Our stadium capacity is 18,000, and we expect, if we fight with Slavia until the end of the season, we will have more than 14,000 average attendance. It's 20 years ago, we won 6 titles in 7 years in a row. We had average attendance 6,000. So you can see we are not sporting successful during the last seasons. We won the last title 9 years ago. So for us, it's really sporting disaster. But this season is really good, and is a combination of investments in marketing, investments in infrastructure, and great sporting results. So this season is really helpful for us. And it helped us because we are preparing with the league the tender for the TV rights and media rights. So we hope that we will see great figures after the tender opening the envelopes, and all the clubs in the Czech League, we will be happy.
Of course, if I ask Ivan, you have had a new beautiful stadium. I have had the experience of visiting Těhelné Pole in the recent years, and it's been a great experience for me. In what ways has the new stadium unlocked some potential for you as well? Because this is a question relevant for Sparta as well.
Yeah, I have to start with the one fact that we were very unlucky, because when we opened the stadium after the 6 months, the COVID came. So basically everything what was rising, it's fall down immediately. So we were struggling a lot. Now we are coming back, but it's still not that what we were hoping it will be, and we cannot. The numbers that I see in Czech Republic are completely different, and the support of the fans and everything what they have, and even though that our stadium is new, we are not able to attract that many fans for the domestic league, basically because the domestic league is, for the fans, it's not attractive. So we are still thinking what to do, and we are trying with the marketing, with the stadium, with the event at the stadium, you know, to show them that it can be interesting for them to come even for the domestic league. But that's the biggest problem, because I see the potential, because if we, as I said in the beginning, when we played the European games, and even not with the top teams, we were able to attract the people. So the fans are there because they were on the matches, and we just need to find a way how to attract them also for the domestic league, and to find the instrument that will keep them at the stadium. But this is our biggest problem, because the income for every club in the Europe from the fans is match revenue. It's very important, and this is the point where we are really struggling, and where we are focusing a lot, and we are trying to do a lot through the marketing, as I said, but the feedback from the fans is not enough that we were hoping. So we will keep trying. We will keep trying to find a way what can attract them, because I can say from the facility side we are on the top level, so that's not a question, and we won the 4 titles in a row, basically, so we just from the sports sides they cannot complain, our fans, for anything. So also we brought experienced players with a fantastic history of Slovakian football, the Slovak national team players like Vladimír Vait and Juraj Kucka that should be attraction for the people, and that should convince them to come to see them and support them and to see them live, because in last years they were able to see them only in the TV from the top league like Premier League and etc. And even this is not enough for them to come and to support them in a Slovak league, because every match is important, and basically it's an event. It's not just a football game, but we should see the football games like events for them to that they can enjoy something else. It's something different, and this is what the people still don't understand in Slovakia. So we will keep trying, and we will see what will happen next.
Krzysztof, from the point of view of broadcasters, what are the key factors for a broadcaster to invest in a small or middle-sized league like the Czech or the Slovak? Or I think Poland is a huge market, but given the attendances of fans, is it a question of the eggs and the hens, as we say in Czech Republic? What comes first?
I would say we should define, first of all, what a mid or small size league means. Again, I should take again the example of Ekstraklasa, because everything depends on the reference point. If the reference point, from my perspective, is the Polish market, then Ekstraklasa definitely, because of its importance to the local Polish viewers, is a large league. So let's put aside for a moment the major European leagues and Ekstraklasa, and let's try to consider potential investments in other leagues, other not that important products. The key and starting point is the basic consideration why this investment should be done at all. Is the mid or small size league treated as a kind of complementary product to all the key products in the entire package, or we are talking about possible future positioning which might be much higher, meaning there will be a broadcaster investing into something which is today quite small, with the expectation to drive attention of additional viewers and to grow the product together with the league. The first case, if we are talking about complementary product, of course the consideration is value against money to be invested. Future marketing support will be very precisely directed to the target community, meaning the people who will be watching these particular games. If we are talking, however, about a league which might grow in a particular market, then the broadcaster's approach is completely different, and all the marketing activities and investments should have definitely longer duration. So the key perspective in such a case is the length of the contract. Please keep in mind that the initial marketing investment must be compensated in future revenues, and we are not talking about 1-2 year perspective, rather about 3 up to 5 year perspective. So the length of the contract, much closer cooperation as promotion of something which has lower perception in the market, recognition in the market, and awareness in the market is much harder. And last but not least, access to all tools which might be offered by a particular league, like, just to give one example, possibility to spread all non-live content over all social media, marketing support, possibility to be on-site. These are the key elements. But all depends on the fact, what's the purpose of the investment. That's the perspective of the broadcasters, in my opinion.
And the purpose of the investment would be very much enhanced if there was no threat of the Super League, I imagine, because of course that can blur the whole thing, I would say. Can you maybe devolve on that a little bit? I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Because this sound here is a little bit worse than for you, maybe. If I talk about the perspective of the Super League or the European model without the Super League, how important it is for broadcasters to know that they are going to operate in a market which is going to be the same the next day from here.
In the media industry, people who work with sport sometimes say investing in sports is similar to gambling. I disagree, but this sentence might give you some impression of the risk which is taken by particular broadcasters, taking the perspective of spending money over 3 or 5 years. It's a huge risk. Let me explain you why. What is not known on the day when the investment is made? The performance of particular clubs, performance of particular players, athletes, the results are not known. What is predictable? The entire ecosystem, the product as such, the number of the games, the positioning of a particular division in the entire system. This is known. The more unpredictable new changes, the higher the risk is for the broadcasters. That's why I think that in this, the additional turbulences which could be brought with fundamental changes of the system are definitely dangerous to broadcasters and might make them much more risk adverse than today. To explain you the gambling story, if 11 is about to invest in a particular league, we are thinking about who will be watching the games, what will be the performance of particular clubs, and what is even more important, what will be the performance of particular players, especially Polish players, because one of our strategies is just to follow Polish players playing in international clubs. We even don't know whether they will be there in a year, in 1 year as from now. Again, at least we know the entire ecosystem. And for the fans, I would say they can follow their heroes. They can know exactly what the heroes are because they know the reference point. They know exactly the place of their club, of a particular club. They know exactly what might be the future, how the club might promote to a higher division, whether the club can play in the future in international competition. So this is something which gives to the fans a huge value. And give me please one example. Do you know who is the best Counter-Strike player today in the world? Probably not, because there are plenty of organizations in the e-sport industry. Maybe this is not the best example, but I think it could somehow illustrate the story. But we know exactly who won the Champions League last year. That's the difference, because the ecosystem is crystal clear and it's open to everybody.
That's a very valid point. It's crystal clear and open to everybody, and that's, of course, one point of reference for financial sustainability for clubs as well. How would financial sustainability be possible to obtain for a club like Slovan Bratislava in an environment where there will be a Super League?
Yes, basically our position towards the Super League it's very clear. We cannot imagine this competition came out, so but I think
maybe we can check this.
and I could
Or
up to yeah. Now it's better? Yeah. So our position of the club is very clear that we cannot imagine of becoming the Super League, because if this competition came out, it can destroy the whole football. And how I see that the football has the fundamental point that should connect the people and the clubs and the countries, and with the close competition, all of this can be destroyed. So I see as a big mistake if this competition will be created. So our position is very clear. So we cannot imagine that something like this will happen. So we will be fighting. Of course, we understand that our position is not that strong and that it's not in our hands. That we cannot change something by ourselves, like Slovan Bratislava or just one club. So we have to find a way how to be strong together and fight against this, because it's basically about just numbers of clubs, like, I don't know, 20, 25 clubs that fighting against us. I understand that every clubs want to have more money. That's, of course, we want to have also bigger revenue, but this is not the way. We should focus for other way and keep the fundamental idea of football alive, that it should connect the people and connect the countries, and yeah, and that's the point that I see as the most important, because that's the idea of football.
Thank you very much. Moving forward, there is obviously huge tasks for everyone involved. As we already saw, Michaela Šojdrová, as a member of European Parliament, to cooperate on a national level, on an international level as well in the European Union. There are ways and there are leverages for clubs that can be done, but at the same time, I think COVID, war in Ukraine, and now the threat of Super League has shown us all that the role of the state is in some ways indescribable, or there is no alternative for it. In what ways can state support for Sparta or a club like Sparta be essential in keeping the, let's say, the investment, but also the keeping the financial sustainability? How can you evolve on that?
If I can compare the situation in Czech Republic with other states, with other countries, we really need more state support for all the parts of the pyramid, of the sports pyramid. We need from the grassroots to the top level the support, and it's not only about money going to the sports ecosystem. It's about the sustainability of our culture, because, for example, in Czech Republic, after the COVID, we have more than 1/3 of boys between 11 and 13 years old with obesity. And this is a real problem for our community, for our population. And the sport is really alternative, or not alternative, it's the way for healthier life and better life. So we need more investments in the sports ecosystem, including the infrastructure. And if somebody says, okay, we will invest only in grassroots, then if you don't invest in the top level as well, you don't have the role models for the kids. So you don't have anybody who they can follow. They will not follow Ronaldo or Messi here in Czech Republic. They need local role models to follow. So this is really important, and I hope that we will see next year some change, because the support from the state here, it's pretty low. I hope that this will change, and we would like to help it with our idea to build a new stadium, a national stadium for football, because Czech Republic and Prague, biggest city in the Czech Republic with more than 1.25 or 1.5 million population. We have the biggest stadium is Slavia Prague Stadium with 20,000 spectators.
Not enough.
It's not enough for our city.
Okay, our time has run out. As you can see, thank you very much for everyone on the panel, Ivan, Krzysztof, and Tomás. Now the panel is open to your questions from the audience. So if you could please raise your hand, and we can give you the microphone to ask the questions for the panel. Thank you. If there are no questions at this point, you can raise your hand anytime. I can ask some other questions as well that we have been preparing. You have talked about the national stadium. Is that now clear and, let's say, very specific target for Sparta? Is that something that is a part of the Sparta's strategy moving forward?
Investment in sports infrastructure is definitely our part of our strategy. We have an idea, or not an idea. We would like to build a national stadium. We offer the cooperation to Czech Football Association to cooperate on such a project, because to be honest, we are playing at Letná, at our stadium, for more than 100 years. The stadium was built in 20s. It was reconstructed 2 times, but it doesn't meet the standards you need today, because our competitors are not other sports. The show business, the shopping malls, these are our competitors. We have to offer comfortable environment for fans if we want them to make them our customers and fans, and to make more revenues, to improve revenues from the match day and as well from the non-match day opportunities, because at Letná, at our stadium, the only commercial part is our fan shop, and we don't have any other areas that we can rent, that we can use 365 days per year. And our idea is to bring multifunctional arena to Prague that really lives not only on match days, but as well during non-match days, and brings life to this part of the city. And as well, we are really working on where to build other infrastructure, sports infrastructure, how to help our partners club to improve their infrastructure, how to help the pyramid in football with the infrastructure, because we have we need more football pitches in Prague, and not only for professional clubs, not only for amateurs clubs, but as well for kids just for playing football. This is something that we need.
Are there any questions from anyone in the audience? If not, I will ask Krzysztof about the role of Super League and the broadcasters. How monocultural would be the environment of broadcasters if there was a Super League? In other words, is this current European model a way to bring innovation into football as well? And what are the ways for innovation from the point of view of broadcasters to help clubs and the whole environment to grow revenues, to keep their financial sustainability?
Yeah, financial sustainability is the key for everybody, I think. In the entire value chain, big fundamental changes are, as mentioned before, very, very risky and might lead to turbulences, leading finally to financial troubles in all the players in the value chain. That's my opinion. The current system, as it is well known, is reliable, as it is open for at least the broadcasters. It's easy also to predict investments, return on investment, and the reliability for us is a kind of key factors based on which we can plan our future also.
This is,
yes?
I can totally agree. It's the same from the perspective of the club. The clarity,
the clarity
to know what will happen and the openness of the competitions. Yeah, I agree.
Ivan, maybe if you can add to that from the Slovak perspective and the broadcasters.
I can agree just what guys said. So I have nothing more to agree to this, and we are completely on your side. So.
Okay, are there any questions? If not, I will continue with the next question for Ivan.
Yes.
Of course, you have talked about the importance of European competitions for Slovan and the match experience. In what ways are you using the European competition as a showcase for your fans of how the fan experience or the match day can look at the Těhelné pole?
Yeah, basically it's something completely different. You know, the European matches are bringing us different opportunity. You know, so all of this that is coming with this match is completely different to Slovak League games. So this is the big problem, and as I said, I cannot imagine to not be part of this, and it's helping us a lot. And we are trying to teach our fans and customers for something else, because in compared to Slovak League, it's completely different. It's harder to explain like this because you should see it and be able to get real experience with what I'm talking about. Because like this in this short period, we can talk about it long. But in Slovakia, it's very difficult situation in football, and not just in the football. I would say generally in a sport. And I have to again agree just with my colleague from Sparta that what he said about the government, that it's also a very important part of the football all over the world. And in our country, there is no support. So we have been trying a lot, you know, in the last period to convince them, to show them, and also using the same examples that obesity of young people is rising, and the sport is very important part of the culture and of healthy lifestyle, and this is something what our country still don't understand, and if we don't change this, it will be a big problem for all of us, because even the Slovak League Union is trying a lot, but we know that how important it's in our countries like Slovakia and Czech Republic, the government, if there is no wish and no support, everything is much more difficult, and that's what we are meeting all of the time in Slovakia, and we are very upset that they don't understand and they don't see, because there is not only about the potential, that's not only about the football club, it's not only about Slovan Bratislava, it's about whole population, that the football connecting the people and keeping them healthy, and without support we cannot come and build the fields all over the country. So that's not possible. So we need to find a way how to convince the government and the people to support us and follow us, because we have the ideas and we are trying a lot, and but without support we're not going to be successful.
Of course, both of your clubs have been historically dominant in your respective countries, or in our common country in the past. But at the same time, you have had a lot of influence in the whole Czech and Slovak environment, and there is a lot that you have done as we can begin from pretty much anywhere, and the raising of young kids to become footballers has helped the environment in a great deal. But what are the other ways that you are identifying as the keys to bring competition or keep the Czech or Slovak environment competitive? If I can start with Tomás.
In our case, we have two pillars. One pillar is this commercial one, like the solidarity. We are prepared to be still solidary with our colleagues from other clubs in the topic of distribution of the revenues from the TV rights and media rights and commercial rights from the league as a whole. So the solidarity here is really important. And the other pillar is that we are really open-minded and really open for all our colleagues. So we share our best experience and as well worst experience on many conferences. Many of Czech clubs and as well Slovak clubs, Polish clubs are visiting our club to discuss what we did in marketing, how we invest, where we invest, what are the results. So we are sharing our experience.
And just a very quick word from you, Ivan, on the same subject.
Yeah. I would say in this way that solidarity is very important. We understand that how important that's for all of us in the league and how can be beneficial for the rest of the league. But we see there's one from the other side that if we as a club are not able to get enough from the league and we are broadcasted like every match, so then to sharing the equally, it's not something what we see as a fair enough for the league, because I would understand that if it's let's say distributed differently, because also in the England in the Premier League that the first team is getting much more money than the last team. So I think that there should be some smart balance to find how to support also the rest of the league, because without the good competition we're not going to be successful. So it's hand in hand. That's what we understand. But as I said, our situation was very difficult because the Czech market it's completely different. It's much bigger. Also, the situation that Sparta is facing with the fans and with everything, it's different to compare to us. So we have different problems at this moment. But of course, it's a point that we are open to discuss how to help the rest of the league and find the instruments that will work for all of us and that can increase the level of the league, because that's also the important. And like that, we can be successful also in other points that we were talking, like the average attendance for the league can rise up when the league is more quality. But this is what we have to find, and that's what we are discussing internally with the Slovak League Union. But they are doing a very good job, and I believe that in next period it will come increase also in this way, and the teams will be better, and the revenue will be higher, and everything will be nice. But it will be hard work.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your attendance on the panel. To Ivan Kmortík, Tomás Krivda, and Krzysztof Świergiel. Thank you very much as well for your attendance here at the first part of the panel, and that now we can move forward with the discussion.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Krzysztof, Tomás, Ivan, Martin, thank you very much for your participation.